Okay, let's just dive right into our explainer of this incredibly fascinating modern-day fable, Abby and the Mafia. We're looking at a highly allegorical story here, set in this mythical but honestly kind of familiar land of ice, snow, beavers, and buffaloes. Today we're going to break down exactly how this narrative uses a really simple story about 10 elders to unpack some pretty heavy themes. We're talking collective responsibility, individual effort, and well, the sometimes harsh realities of majority rule.
So, Part 1, the founding of Connada. Let's look at the origin story. Now, the text maps out how this place, Connada, was actually built, and it wasn't an overnight thing. It was really a phased rollout. First up, we've got the architects, the oldest elders, Tario and Mama, along with Nova and Nubi. Then they go out and recruit Manny, Becky, and Pi to expand things. Next to join the party is Abby, our main protagonist, along with Sassy. And then finally, Nerf rounds out the whole group. Pinning down this shared history is absolutely crucial if we're going to understand the dynamic between these 10 individuals later on.
Right out of the gate, the foundational agreement was, well, incredibly idealistic. The text sets up this perfect utopian premise. Everyone would be treated equally and have a fair say in how the group worked and played together. The promise was super simple, right? Just pull your unique skills, pull your resources, work side by side, and literally build a better place for everyone. It's your classic textbook social contract. Sounds pretty perfect, doesn't it? But, as you'll see, the source text quickly complicates this whole ideal. Which brings us to Part 2, the burden of work. This is where the ideal starts to fracture. This perfectly illustrates the core tension of the whole story. On one hand, you have that initial utopian promise, the equal treatment and shared resources that convinced Abby to join in the first place. But then, you have Abby's reality. The text points out a really disturbing trend here. The harder Abby worked, the more the others wanted from her. Her increased productivity, it didn't give her more wealth or time off. Nope, it just resulted in totally disproportionate demands. The balance of that original contract completely flipped on its head. And the author is super specific about exactly where these demands are coming from. 5 elders in particular were really eager to take more from Abby as her output went up. We're talking about Mama, Manny, Nubi, Nova, and Pi. Notice anything interesting there? Yeah, a lot of those are the original founders, or the very early recruits. So instead of everyone pitching in and pulling their own weight, we get this dynamic where a specific subset of the group starts relying heavily, and I mean heavily, on the outsized labor of literally just one person. And when Abby finally realizes what's happening and actually calls them out on it, they don't deny it. They don't even apologize. Actually, they laugh. Just look at this stunning admission right from the text. Abby, no matter what you do and how hard you work, we will always want more from you. You make it easier for us to have a good life without having to work for the things we want and expect. I mean, wow. The collective is just openly admitting that Abby is subsidizing their entire lifestyle.
All right, moving on to Part 3, the rules of democracy. Or, more accurately, a structural trap.
Now, the group justifies keeping Abby under their thumb by invoking democracy, but they set up these rigorous, kind of crazy mathematical thresholds to lock in the status quo. Check this out. If Abby wants to keep what she earns, 7 out of the 10 elders have to agree. If she wants to pack up and leave entirely, same thing. 7 out of 10 must agree. But remember, Abby is just one person, and there are 5 elders actively feeding off her hard work. So you do the math, folks. It's virtually impossible for her to ever secure those 7 votes. The rules are custom designed right from the start to legally maintain control over her. The sheer audacity of this whole system is captured perfectly when the group drops this line. We always are willing to hear what you have to say, even if we always do what is in our best interest and not yours. That sounds fair, doesn't it? I mean, talk about a dark twist on democratic ideals, right? The group is basically equating fairness with simply letting her speak, all while completely exploiting her minority status through majority rule. But a structural trap isn't quite enough for them. They also start using psychological fear tactics. They actively try to break her confidence by patronizing her, literally telling her she's too young to know how to look after yourself. And on top of that, they start inventing these external threats to make the idea of independence sound absolutely terrifying, specifically warning her of a scary orange bad man in the South. The strategy here is crystal clear. If fake fairness won't keep her trapped, then fear of the unknown definitely will.
Which brings us to Part 4, Abby's ultimate choice. The final dilemma.
This whole narrative leaves Abby stuck facing a truly profound dilemma. Option 1, just stay. But as the text explicitly describes it, staying means remaining in an abusive relationship, where her labor is just continuously extracted without her consent. Option 2, make a stand, break free, and brave those supposedly terrifying unknown threats the others keep warning her about. So it's a pretty stark choice. Settle for the uncomfortable certainty of being exploited, or risk it all for the prospect of true independence.
And the crazy thing? The source material doesn't hand us a neat and tidy ending. Instead, it actually turns the focus outward, directly onto you. Looking at this entire situation, the broken utopian promises, the completely unequal burdens, those rigged mathematical rules, and the blatant fear tactics, what would you do if you were in Abby's moccasins? The story just leaves us hanging, forcing us to weigh the true cost of collective security against the absolute, undeniable value of individual freedom. It's definitely something to chew on. Thanks so much for exploring this explainer with me today.